It's almost here. We're almost done waiting. We have made it to the week of Christmas. So the waiting is over, right? Or is it? We go through this season of Advent every year as a church family, and we practice this idea of waiting and longing and having this expectancy in community. But is it really waiting with hope when we know when it will be over? I think for me, Advent often comes and brings to mind all of the other Advents in my life that I'm still waiting and longing and just watching to see what God is going to do. Today, I'd like to talk about a huge portion of history. Most, honestly, of what we have recorded in the Old Testament is this time where the Israelites as a nation are waiting. They have received this promise. Abram talked and God said, I'm going to make you a great nation. I'm going to bless the whole world through you. And this hope was bright and new and shiny. And then over and over and over again throughout their history, they experienced periods of slavery in Egypt, wandering in the wilderness, kingdoms that would rise and fall. And through it all, they had to be wondering, did we misunderstand? Is this all? Is this the best that we can hope for? This is not the Redeemer that God has promised. This is not the Savior. This is not this freedom that we've been promised. Year after year, generation after generation, they experienced isolation, mistreatment, disenfranchisement. They were enslaved, mistreated, exiled from this land that God had promised them. And through it all, God continues to bring prophets and people to speak truth and to tell his people to just keep waiting, looking for me. Here is what it's going to look like. So today, I'm going to read a little bit from Lamentations, which this book is just, if you want to see what it looks like to pour your heart out to God and tell him everything that's going wrong, I invite you to read all of Lamentations. It's written by Jeremiah as the Israelites were in exile in Babylon. And I'm going to read chapter 3. I'm going to start in verse 19. It says, I remember my affliction and my wandering, the bitterness and the gall. I well remember them, and my soul is downcast within me. Yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Verse 22, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion. Therefore, I will wait for him. The Lord is good to those whose hope is him, to the one who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. It is good for a man to bear the yoke while he is still young. Let him sit alone in silence, for the Lord has laid it on him. Let him bury his face in the dust. There may yet be hope. Let him offer his cheek to the one who would strike him, and let him be filled with disgrace. For no one is cast off by the Lord forever. Though he brings grief, he will show compassion. So great is his unfailing love. For he does not willingly bring affliction or grief to anyone. So today, as we're wrapping up this season of Advent, we are counting down. We are days away from Christmas, from this celebration of God bringing to fulfillment all of the promises that he had made to his people in the coming of Emmanuel, of God with us. But for most of us, our Advents, our other seasons of waiting are still very much in the thick of it. And like the Israelites, as we look at the situations around us, we can call these things to mind. We can have hope, but sometimes that hope, it gets a little tarnished. It's hard to grasp onto. We can find ourselves wondering how much more, how much longer can we really keep holding on? So I invite you to continue to pray about this today and to think about the places in your life where God is asking you to just keep holding on wish you a very Merry Christmas from my family, and I'm looking forward to worshiping with you on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas.